CES 2017 came and went, and as expected, there was a ton of cool new tech shown off. I'm Andrew the New Guy, and today we're here to talk about the 10 best things for gamers shown at CES 2017. And up first, at number 10, we have the Acer Predator 21X. I'm sure you guys have already seen pictures of this one floating around on the internet. It's absurd. It weighs almost 20 pounds, has a 21-inch curved display, has 2 GTX 1080s, eye tracking, can store up to 5 storage drives at once. It has 4 speakers and 2 subwoofers. The touchpad can be flipped over and used as a numeric keypad, and unlike the new MacBook Pro, it also has an SD card slot. It's also stupid big, like really dumb big. Look at this thing. It's insanely huge. It's at the size of 3 babies. But it is the first laptop with a curved display, so I guess that's pretty cool. But at least for your money, not only are you getting an insane laptop, you are also getting a weapon and possibly a bed, depending on how tall you are. And up next, number 9, we have the Sony Bravia OLED A1E. This is probably the nicest thing I saw at CES, and by that I mean like the prettiest looking piece of tech I think I've ever seen. I'm still drooling over it. I mean, look at this thing. It's beautiful. It's 56 inches and has a 4K OLED display, and it's super crazy slim. There's little to no bezel, and its stand works just like a picture frame stand, so you can, prop it up and lean it back like a picture frame, which is the perfect setup for my cat to jump on it and attempt to tightrope across the edge and knock it over and ruin it, so I'm really looking forward to that. It also supports Dolby Vision, runs Android TV, and it has Chromecasting built into it, so you can scream at your Google Home to control it. And because of this TV being so thin and having an almost edge-to-edge display, there's no room for speakers. So Sony did something really cool, and the sound actually comes from behind the display using Sony's acoustic surface technology. And this is one of the things that just makes this such a cool piece of tech. And up next, at number 8, we have the Taclum VR system. I think I said that right. And this consists of a pair of shoes and gloves, and they're designed to build that feeling of immersion even more than you already get with a VR headset. The shoes use haptic feedback to simulate you walking on different surfaces like wood and water, etc. And the gloves really don't actually look like gloves, but it's just a different take on VR controllers, and we've kind of already seen it before. But at the same time, I love stuff like this, and anything that furthers this VR tech that we have, I want to see, I want to touch it. I'm super curious to see how far VR can go. And up next, at number 7, we have NVIDIA GeForce Now. Now, the service itself isn't new. It was previously only available on NVIDIA Shield devices, but now it's coming to PC and Mac this March. So now all those AAA graphically intensive games that your Mac or PC can't run are now playable. And of course, it isn't free. It'll cost you $25 for about 20 hours of gameplay, and there will be multiple GPU tiers. While some might say that the pricing is a little much, it's still just awesome that this really opens up video games to a bigger audience. Because at the end of the day, that's what we all want. We want people to experience some of these amazing games that we get to experience. And up next, number 6, we have Liquid Sky. This is another streaming service very similar to NVIDIA's GeForce Now, and it lets you play games on your Mac and PC and other devices just like GeForce. But a big difference between this and GeForce is that this is technically free in some ways. Like, how Spotify is free, but you have to listen to ads from time to time. Well, this kind of does the same thing. Watching ads actually gives you credits to play with, and there's a cap for 3 hours worth of credits per day, which I can easily play more than 3 hours a day, and the thought of being capped at that is a little weird. There's also paid tiers starting at $9.99 a month for 80 hours of the lowest setup, 40 hours of Pro, and 20 hours of the Elite setup. Liquid Sky also claims to offer the lowest latency, which is definitely the biggest worry for a service like this, and I think we're definitely going to start seeing more services like this in the future. And up next, at number 5, we have another piece of VR tech, the HTC Vive Tracker. Now that VR sets are on the market, it's time for a ton of accessories to start coming out. One of the accessories that HTC showed off at CES is pretty interesting. It's just this black puck looking thing, and essentially you just put it on an object and it takes that and puts it in the game. At their booth, HTC showed it off with a few different objects, but two of the things that stood out to me was the baseball bat and the fire hose. And what's really cool and interesting about these two objects in particular is that they weren't attached to a game, but they were attached more to a simulator, like a training simulator, not a video game. And they aren't meant for new VR users, but for more seasoned ones. So Joe Schmo really shouldn't run out and buy this thing and attach it to a baseball bat and start swinging around their living room. It's probably going to end very badly. These VR headsets alone is just such an amazing piece of technology. And now that we're able to start taking real life objects and put them into VR is unreal. And up next, number 4, we have the Altwork Reclining Workstation. The Altwork Reclining Workstation is another one of the crazy products we got to see at CES. I mean, look at this thing. It has different positions that it can go in, and whether you're in the sitting position or in the lying down position, the monitor mount moves with it and moves into the optimal viewing angle, so there really isn't much adjusting. It also has a laptop mount that will keep your laptop floating above you for use, and from everything I've read, it's supposed to be pretty comfortable, and lying down and working supposedly works better than you would think it would. And the price of comfort isn't cheap. This thing costs $5,900, which is pretty steep and definitely isn't going to be purchased by everyone. This is definitely only for someone who is looking for a workstation that is probably more comfortable than actually working in their own bed. And up next, number 3, we have Razer Project Ariana. Razer always has wacky projects going on at CES, and while most of them are just kind of concept designs and don't actually get released, they're still really cool to see. This one is a high-definition video projector that uses Razer's Chroma software to project lights and parts of the game onto the wall of wherever you're playing, which I guess is pretty cool. I don't think it's something that I would use personally. I think it would honestly freak me out a bit to see all this shit flying around me, but the tech is really cool. It uses an ultra-wide fisheye lens and is able to communicate with whatever game you're playing in real time to create the lights and effects that it projects onto your wall. And up next, number 2, we have the Super Retro Boy. Retrobit's newest console remake comes in the form of the Super Retro Boy, and this is just like a fun piece of technology. It does look and feel like the OG Game Boy, and that's because it's supposed to. It's a remake of that console, but it isn't a straight up rip of the Game Boy. Obviously, legally that isn't allowed, but it definitely does resemble it quite a bit. It's set to release this August for $79.99, and I'll definitely be keeping my eyes on it. And up next, at number 1, we have the Razer Project Valerie. Sure, you guys have seen this already. This thing is insane. It's a pretty big boy, but it's packing a lot inside of it. And it's weird to see a big Razer laptop because their other ones really try to go for more slim design. But the reason this thing is a little bit heftier is because behind its 17-inch monitor, it's packing 2 more 17-inch monitors. It also has an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1080 in it as well, so that's definitely going to add a little bit more power. And like I said before, Razer likes to make these crazy prototypes and never release them, but I think that this one is one that I would actually want to see become a real thing. Like, I think I might want to buy this, and I don't know if there's something wrong with me, if that makes me a little bit insane, but I want it. And those are the best things that we saw for gamers at CES 2017. If there's anything that we missed, please let us know down in the comments. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. And liking this video really does help us out quite a bit. And if you guys don't already know, we put out videos like this every single day. The best way to see them is subscribing to the channel. And once again, I'm Andrew the New Guy, and I'll see you next time right here on GameRanks.